A woman can like you, she can desire you, and she can even tell you she loves you. But if she does not respect you, that relationship is doomed. There is no exception to this rule. Most men make the fatal mistake of confusing burning desire or high interest with respect. They are not the same thing. Desire fluctuates. Respect is the foundation. If you build a relationship on desire without respect, you are building a house on sand. The moment the excitement fades, and it always usually does for most men, you will be left with a partner who undermines you, drains you, and eventually despises you. You are looking for a long term partner, someone to build a life with. Naturally, you are looking for compatibility, shared values, and attraction. The common belief among most men is that if she is affectionate, wants to spend time with you, and the sex is great, then the relationship is solid. You might think she's crazy about me, so everything else will just fall in place. But here's the thing, high interest is cheaper than respect. A woman can be obsessed with you and still view you as a utility or a placeholder. If you prioritize her affection over her respect for you as a man, you are setting yourself up for a chaotic, miserable existence. I have consulted with men who had, on paper, everything you could ask for: money, status, looks. Yet they were absolutely miserable because they allowed small, disrespectful acts to compound into a toxic dynamic which doesn't even benefit them in any kind of way. I know exactly what this looks like. And more importantly, I know how to stop it before it starts because through the various dynamics I got to experience, and I can say I was on either side of the fence, that it all starts with how much you respect yourself. And believe me, this is coming from someone who at one point was socially awkward, invisible, and absolutely fat as fuck, basically. I had no options whatsoever. So, in this video, I'm going to teach you the specific non negotiable markers of respect you should look for in a woman so that you have a fulfilling long term relationship with a woman who actually respects you, not just on day one, but also in the future. We aren't talking about vague feelings here. Really, we are going to cover the behavior evidence, like, for example, how she handles your tone of voice, and your reputation. If you face these tests that I'm about to outline, you will not negotiate. You can't negotiate. You will simply have to walk away from that dynamic. Let's start with the most tangible asset you have as a man. I think you know where I'm going. It's your time. The first major indicator of respect is how she treats your sketches, because your competence is what really makes you biologically attractive to her. Time is the only resource you can never really earn back. A woman who respects you understands that your time is valuable because you are valuable, and your value is directly correlated, generally speaking, with how likely it is that you will abandon ship if shit hits the fan. And sometimes it does. She understands that you have a mission, a career, and obligations that exist outside of giving her the attention she is asking for. Let's look at the context, right? Let's say you set a date for 7 p.m. She calls you at 6:45 to say she hasn't started getting ready yet. Or worse, she just shows up 30 minutes late with a half-hearted apology and a huge attitude. For perhaps you were working on a project and she interrupts you constantly with trivial matters that aren't even important at the moment, expecting you to drop everything you're doing in that moment to satisfy her request. Let's be honest, this isn't just being late or being cute, right? This is a test. It's a competence test. When a woman repeatedly violates your time boundaries, she's subconsciously communicating that her comfort is more important than your obligations. Clear. If you tolerate this early on, you are training her to view your time as disposable or replaceable at best. A woman who truly respects you will move mountains for you because she either fears she is keeping you waiting or that she is maybe wasting your time. And the next thing about this is very critical because it also involves your reputation, which directly influences other people's perception of you. So you have to ask yourself, does she show pride in being with me, or does she micromanage me as if I'm her employee? The context here is, of course, social hierarchy. Women are very much aware of social standing. That is part of the reason why they naturally gravitate towards high status men and can sense power in a man from a mile away. Think about it this way. The man is prized to be the stop that appreciates in value over time, his most precious asset. But the woman, on the other hand, is the animist with an intuitive gift for evaluating valuable assets to secure her offspring with the best possible stock. If she respects you, she views you literally as an object of her admiration in her life. So much so that she even rationalizes your flaws as virtues and can't help but feel puzzled in your presence. She wants to be associated with you because, in her eyes, you signal all the key markers that command respect. Now, there's a trick to this to gauge whether she holds pride in being with you, and that is by observing how she acts when you are in public or around her friends. Does she introduce you with enthusiasm? Does she look at you when you are speaking to the group? Or does she speak over you, correct your stories, or make jokes at your expense to get a laugh from the crowd? Another version of this, what is called pocketing, where she keeps you away from her social circle or hesitates to post you or acts single when you are in her presence. These are all warning lights that are hinted at even early on in dating. If a woman is acting suspicious or fickle in any kind of way, you should believe your gut and take a step back and reconsider, because women show their face, their true face, more than you would like to believe, especially in those early stages when it's just first impressions. Most men just don't happen to notice. In reality, a woman who respects you is your PR agent. She protects your image from negativity. If she is comfortable diminishing you in public or hides you from her friends, she doesn't have confidence in you. It's that simple. She is using you by extracting either resources or attention from you while keeping her options open for someone she may respect. A woman who doesn't have pride in being with you is always looking to replace you. I know it sounds terrible, but sooner or later it will happen. No, public behavior and reputation are one thing, but how she handles your direct communication is where the relationship usually lives or doubles. You need to analyze the mechanics of how she listens, because communication is the exchange of value. So when you speak, you are basically offering your thoughts, guidance, and perspective. For example, you are explaining a concept, a plan for the future, or a boundary. Just watch her face. Is she actually listening to the words you are saying, or is she just waiting for a pause so she can interject? These are all important questions, and you have to ask these early on. You can't wait that you are already exclusive with a woman to really take these things seriously. If you are speaking and she picks up her phone to scroll through Instagram or TikTok, you should stop talking immediately, because interrupting is not just a bad habit. It's like a signal that she believes what she has to say is more important than what you are saying. And it is, in some ways, a subtle power play, because a woman who respects you should value your intellect. She wants to hear your full thought process because she actually trusts your judgment. If she constantly cuts you off, she does not value your leadership. This leads me directly to the final test, which is the hardest one for most men to navigate, because it happens during conflict rather than during peace. It is easier to respect someone when you agree with them, but the real verdict is made with how she treats you when she disagrees with what you have to say and experiences a strong negative emotion. Because the reality is, you will not agree on everything. That is impossible. But there is a massive difference between disagreement on the one hand and disrespect on another. Because when the first automatically leads to the second, there is absolutely a lack of respect there. She is basically taking you for granted. Let's say you make a decision she doesn't like. Maybe it's about where to live, or how to invest money, or how to handle a family issue. Does she attack your character directly? Does she call you stupid, controlling, or incompetent? Does she maybe roll her eyes and sigh in contempt? Or does she say, "Oh, I see differently, but I actually want to understand your reason"? This is the basic difference. Self centered women are my way or the highway types. They don't reason with maturity, they reason with emotions they have no control over. You see, you are looking for a woman who values your opinion even when it clashes with her own, because respect means acknowledgement, acknowledging your competence to handle the situation, even if she would have done it differently. If she resorts to name calling or character destruction to the moment she doesn't get her way, she merely views you as a child to be disciplined. That is not a healthy dynamic at all. So, if you are recognizing any of these red flags in your current dating life and want to ensure you choose the right woman for you, then click the link below this video to book a strategy call with your friend here to resolve it as quick as possible. I want you to understand this, my friends. Respect cannot be negotiated. You cannot sit a woman down and logically convince her to respect you. This is a telltale sign of insecurity. Respect is earned through taking action, having boundaries, and actually being competent at something. But it also must be maintained by what you refuse to tolerate in your relationships and by choosing, and this is the most important of all, the right woman. If she wastes your time, humiliates you in public, speaks over you, attacks your character during disagreements, you do not have relationship potential with that woman. You have a huge liability that is going to cost you money, emotional energy, time, and a great deal of pay. If you want to know more about how to discover if she is the right woman for you, then click this video to learn how to read her interest level, because that is the strongest predictor for long-term respect. So with that said, I'll see you there. Take care.